Hey guys, in today's video I want to talk to you about a second lens that I have ever purchased, and it is actually a 56mm F1.2 lens made by Fuji. 56mm lens is equivalent to 85mm on a full frame sensor, and this particular lens is got a very wide aperture at f1.2. That is awesome in many different ways. First of all, the amount of light this lens can take in is just astonishing. But we'll talk about that a bit later on. Let's start with the general specs. This lens comes with this god-awful lens hood. It's basically the size of a lens, and when you mount it, just kind of double the size of a lens, and now it looks like I'd say almost a beer can. The other specs I should really cover, and I'll just throw them on. So there's going to be a size up here, weight down here, a filter thread size up here, and also the price down here. Now let's get on to the real review. So this lens has no weather sealing, meaning that there is no gasket on the back. So if you're shooting out in the rain or if it's dusty in the area, this lens is vulnerable. But that's what happens when the lens is 6 years old. I've already mentioned that this lens is 85mm equivalent, and it actually has a minimum focus distance of approximately 70 centimeters, which is really high, so definitely not particularly useful for macro photography. The aperture on this lens works in 1/3 steps, and it is electronic like most Fuji lenses. The lens comes with no stabilization, not an issue for pictures as the f-stop lets you shoot at higher shutter speeds while maintaining low ISO, but for video that does come as an issue. We'll fix this by using slow motion and shooting a little wider than we'd like, and then doing it in post, or alternatively we'll also use the gimbal. Let's get on to image performance. When wide open, it is very much center sharp, with slight fall off towards the corners. It is especially nice for portraits, when you want to keep the natural look without showing any skin imperfections. If you require more sharpness in the middle or to the sides, stepping down to f2 or f2.8 will give it a good bump. For maximum sharpness across the board, f5.6 would be the peak. If you for some reason need to shoot at high f-stop, for example if you forgot your ND filter for video, then watch out for diffraction. From f11 to f16 it's more obvious, but at no point it is particularly bad. Only really visible when you compare the two pictures side by side. Realistically, a good picture with slight technical imperfections is still a good picture. One of the reasons to get this lens is the bokeh. The fall off is just amazing while wide open. It is soft and not intrusive. Exactly what you'd expect from a lens that is specifically designed for portraits. But is it only good for portraits? Well, this is a fast prime lens, so you can create very intimate close-up clips while maintaining a very narrow field of view. We'll find a good place for it when filming B-roll. Our biggest gripe with this lens is when focusing. It tends to misfocus, is not particularly fast, and makes micro adjustments from time to time. It is manageable when doing portrait photography, but in video it tends to be very distracting. This does happen more when focusing between two very different focal planes, meaning when you do considerable focus shift, for example from foreground to background. On the other hand, if you have a smooth pan or following a subject, it seems to be reasonably contained. Focusing is also rather loud, so if you need sound, do use an external microphone, which is directional, like a shotgun microphone, or if you are able, go off camera altogether. On the other hand, for manual focusing it is actually pretty awesome, especially if you have the ability to have somebody pull focus while you're shooting video. Reason for it is it has a very long and smooth focus throw. It is nicely dampened and just works really well. So let's sum it up. While I love using this lens, I also have to be brutally honest. It is a very old lens and it also comes with a price tag of $1,000. With the main focus being a portrait photography, it is actually quite hard to recommend for the general user. On the other hand, if you have the patience and the need for a fast medium prime lens to do video work, it can produce great results, but not without practice. In our case, it is not a primary lens we use, but it is still a good support lens when you really want to isolate the subject, as that is where it shines. I hope you found this useful. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up and subscribe to show your support. See you guys in the next one.